Can you hear me today? We are coming at you from a totally different location without the microphone, so I hope that you can hear me. It's going to be a short one today, but I had to check in with you guys because it's all about showing up. So here we are. Let us see who is here. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me all right. But yeah, 111 minutes till we're live. Ooh, Ursula was there early. Good job, Ursula. Chadwick, what's up, my friend? Says, can't wait. Blessings to you all. PA, aka V. V, huh? For Vendetta? What is that? This hat might be a little bit much. So let's just open up. There we go. Okay. So hello, Val. Good morning, all. Happy Monday. Beautiful 71 degrees here in northern Arizona. Yes, it's about like that here, actually. Today, I am at my father's house. I am here with my brother and his girlfriend and her kid. We're going fishing, and so we're gonna skin the fish and eat it and everything, and then I'm gonna use the remains to make a video on my other channel, my gardening channel, about how to make the fertilizers, a different kind of fertilizer. And so, yes, you see, my dad is into model trains. You see this here? Yes. He's really in. It's like a hobby. Well, it is a hobby, of the model trains. Yes, let's see, where's everybody from? Remember, guys, it's a short one today because we are on the go, but I'm showing up. So, Voltage Nut, what's up, my friend? Chadwick says, give Nate that well-deserved thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Matias, hello. Hello, my friend. Vera Witch Lady, yes, you are here. And let's see, good morning, Nate. And all, says Brian. Hello, Brian. Ms. KC, greetings from Atlanta. Mel's Variety says, hello, Graham Divine. Hi, Nate, I'm back. I updated it, blocked me constantly. Man, you're always getting in trouble and blocked and all of that. When are you just gonna conform, Graham? PA says, I'm the other Val. All right, fair enough. Eric Hoffman, out in the garden, setting up my tomato trellises. So great to make it to the live. All right, guys, so let me know, what's the topic going to be here? We got about 20, 30 minutes, I would say, where we're going to be doing this. But then, got to get outside with the family and do the fishing and all of that. But I got no problem hanging out with you guys for a little bit. So Ryan Spencer says, hey, Nate, just wondering if you know of the Schumann resonance. And if so, could you enlighten me on what's happening right now with the world's frequency? That is a topic that would require an entire episode in itself, because I would have to go really in depth with that. Not so much the Schumann resonance, but the frequency of all things, in the sense that all there is frequency. Everything is, well, yeah. See, I would have to go really deep into this. Everything is a frequency. And so to section it off into certain types of frequencies, that's something that the human mind does. But everything that we see is an ocean of energetic potentiality. It's vibrations, different types of frequencies that appear solid to the decoder of the human mind. So let us save that question for a time when we can get real deep into it. Maybe we will do an entire, because I have to start from the beginning and really explain the nature of reality and the nature of vibration and all of this. It all comes into play. All right, so let us save that one, my friend, but we got that definitely. And but what you can do is to raise your own frequency. That is the only thing that really matters. So if each one of us raised our frequency individually, then the whole would already take care of itself. And really, when we look to nature, that's how nature does it. Nature takes care of each individual little component by itself. So, for example, when you are driving down a country road or a dirt path or something, and there's a rabbit there, and boom, it thinks that you're after it because it is centered around itself. It thinks that you are there to kill it. And so it's running for its life, even though you know that you have absolutely no desire to harm the rabbit. You're just driving down the road. But nature has instilled within the rabbit, within all creatures, the self-preservation. So the thing to take care of yourself as best as possible, and then the hole automatically takes care of itself. And so this is true with awakening and raising the vibration and the frequency. Because if you do these things to make sure that you are in resonance with, that you are aligned with the eternal, then the whole will take care of itself. And this we do through the practices. This we do through the practices at first, but then it sort of becomes your default pattern, and you don't have to, your entire life becomes a practice. Your entire life becomes a meditation. You don't have to formally practice. You might still, but it no longer is necessary because the barrier has been broken between the delusion that I'm a separate entity that's in a world full of separate things that are out here. And all of that kind of just dissolves. And then there's one eternal vibration, one entity, and that's it. And when you start operating from that level, then yeah. Okay, so let us see here. Wild Bill says, I'm eating liver like a Viking. All right, how much per serving? How many servings per day? And how many days per week? Thanks in advance, bro. Okay, Wild Bill, liver is on the beef liver train. Number one thing you can do for yourself, guys, nutritionally, is get on the raw beef liver. And you just cut it up a little bit with the maple, and you just cut it up into small chunks, add the maple syrup to it, and then eat it like that. And you can chew it if you want, but at first it can be easier to just down it with a glass of water, almost like a pill. Like you just swallow it whole because it's so soft and so it's so easy. So you just take a spoonful with the maple syrup in it and all that, and then and take a little sip of water down the hatch, and your body will feel how good it feels. So how much you can work your way up. So it usually comes in a 1 pound, and so I take the pound, and personally I'll cut it into 4 sections, so a quarter pound each time, and I'll consume the quarter pound. I'll let it thaw out. I'll cut it into 4, and then I'll put each individual piece into the freezer, and I'll pull out the quarter pound piece each time that I want to consume it. Let it thaw out just briefly, until it's just for about an hour or two. It thaws out real fast, and then slice it up, put the maple syrup in it, and then consume it. And I will do that 3 times a week, 4 times a week probably, so about a pound a week. And you can space it out however you want. Some people will say more, but I don't feel there's any need for that because you will see right away the effect that it can have. The bioavailable B vitamins. And so I won't go into extolling the many virtues of the beef liver now because I've done that like last one and the one before. But yeah, it's a magnificent thing. And it's got so much vitamin A and iron and all kinds of good stuff in it that your body's going to love it. Okay? So let us see here. Please do one of these lives after 4:30 Central Time. Ooh, okay. Let's see. 4:30 Central Time would be 5:30 this time. I should do one in the evening. In fact, I would like to move this one to the evenings because Monday, middle of the day, Monday is like the day when I focus on making the video for my other channel. It's like, you put things off during the weekend because I focus time with family on the weekends. And then Monday morning, it's like, bam, I'm hitting projects and stuff. So it actually would be a lot better if we did this at some other time. So what would be a good time for you guys? In the afternoon more, later in the evening, or if we did it earlier in the morning, like 10:30 would be good for me as well. But let me know. So let's see here. Joe Slack says, Ontario, Canada in the house. Can't move. Suffering from sciatic pain. Anyone have any remedies? Man, the sciatic pain can be a nightmare, guys. It can be a nightmare. What helped me when I was dealing with that for some time is the cold training, ice bathing. Ice bathing with heat therapy. So it's the contrast therapy that is really going to help. Contrast therapy is everything, guys. The cold training is wonderful in itself, but that will sort of contract the tissues and the blood vessels and the small little muscles that open and close and dilate our blood vessels and our arteries that never get a workout in our modern life because we don't experience the temperature extremes like our ancestors used to. So they can kind of go dormant and things. And so you want that in the ice cold, boom, it shuts it real tight. And then in the nice hot sauna, boom, opens it up real wide, trying to cool the blood down like that. And so the contrast therapy is great for the entire cardiovascular system, but also for the muscular system and the tendons, and all of this stuff benefits because it's anti-inflammatory. And so the sciatic pain can be from inflammatory responses. And you need to do things that will lower the inflammation response. All right. So I would recommend highly the contrast therapy. Do the cold training, the ice bathing, also do the sauna therapy, but also get the chlorophyll into you for this, for anti-inflammation. Okay. Through the easiest way to get the chlorophyll in, I mean, mega doses of chlorophyll, is juicing wheatgrass, because the wheatgrass is the number one plant. I mean, the grass is the number one plant that captures the sunlight, really. And so you will taste it. When you grow your own and then juice the wheatgrass, guys, it is super powerful. And so that's what I recommend. Also get on the beef liver train. So there's so many different things. So you'd be doing all of these practices, and it's the combination of all of it that helps with everything. Sciatic pain, joint pain, muscle pain, any of these kind of things, emotional pain, all of it helps. All right. So let's see here. Graham says, anytime that suits you. I don't, although I do work, of course, I'm constantly working, but I don't have a schedule. I don't work for a job, you know. So, yeah, okay. Pam says at 10:30 a.m. would be great. It's 6:20 here now where I live in South Africa. Is that PM? It's 6:20 in the evening there, Pam? Let's see. Val says, I'm for whatever time my mates here can join us. Yes. Okay. Val says, I'm here for whatever time my mates here can join us. Yeah, guys, let's if you're watching this after the fact, put it in the comments and stuff. When do you think is a good time? I'm usually most energetic in the morning. So let's focus towards the morning. That would be best. If we did it at like 10:30, that would be more helpful. Definitely. So what do you guys think? Ben Hudson, 2 a.m. here, so ever ready. Where you at, Ben? I forget exactly. Freebird says 5 is a good time. Okay, we could possibly do 5 as well. Let's see. Ursula says you can create a poll and have viewers vote on best times. There we go. There we go. That's what we'll do. Vera says earlier is okay. Later would be during the night here in Europe. Okay, so yes. I know a lot of people are from Europe, so yes. PA says, damn, I'm probably out then because it's 5 hours later here already. So what do you think about 10:30 then, PA? Because I would like to make sure you're here. Val says, agree, Mondays are usually very busy. Yeah, I know. Brian says, nature is always right. That was a hard lesson to learn. Once you give over, your being can become whole. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. For so long, I was so hesitant because I was thinking with the mind still, because I still had a concept that I was a little person and all of that, an individual. And for so long, I was like standing at the edge of the abyss, but I just could not jump. I was like, how am I going to function in life without the me, without the commentator in the head? How can I not give importance to that? How can I possibly just let go and I'll just see wherever life takes me. I'll just go with the flow, and then without me, the commentator and the problem solver and stuff, then everything's just gonna fall apart. Little did I know. Little did I know. Only once I got out of my own way and finally just said, okay, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't care any longer. I'm just going to let go. To just let go. And once I did that, at first it was kind of shaky before you learn to live with the heart and to not plan your life at all whatsoever. It sounds to the mind like, well, this doesn't make any sense. What do you mean don't plan your life? I have to plan my life and I have to boom, boom, boom. But that was leading me to destruction, over the years. I just couldn't, once I let go, my friends, then everything began to happen. Planning and all of that still happens. Thoughts, foreshadowing of the future and these kind of things, it happens, but it's in a totally different way because it's the heart energy that is just flowing through you. It's not the little concept of myself that is having to, walk through the world alone. It's so crazy, guys. So if you are, we'll get much deeper into this in future talks, but if you are standing at the edge of the abyss and you're thinking, how can I possibly give over to the universe, to God, or to whatever you want to call it? How can I possibly give myself over completely and my life will just fall apart? Not true. Not true at all. Only once you give yourself over do you really begin to live. Is man. So, let's see. PA says that would be 1530 here and 60. Okay, okay. So then that would be acceptable, right, PA? So it would be what's that? 330 and 630, or 330 and 430. Yes. Wild Bill says, I've been feeding my German Shepherds raw liver for a few years now, but started eating it myself now for 10 days or so. Thanks to you, I feel stronger and have more energy. Wow. All right, Wild Bill, thank you very much for the testimony. And yes, the animals love the liver because they know. They know. And if you feed your animals raw, like we did in the mountains, and like I do the cat at home and stuff, but the dogs in the mountains ate the raw. And if you give them various different types of animal things, if you give them like a bit of a neck, a bit of a chicken leg or something like that, or some bones, or some even just some straight up meat or some fats with some liver, they will always go for the liver first. They will always push the other things aside and go to the liver because it's the instinctual knowledge within them that knows that yes, we want more of that. That's what we want. Cheater says, do you cook liver or raw? Always raw, my friend. Cooked liver can be disgusting in the sense that it becomes really grainy and powdery. But raw liver has all the enzymes that you will need. Heat really denatures a lot of the enzymes. And so it's raw liver is so easy to digest. It's wonderful. Nancy says, liver, cold. These things are so out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to start using both, doing both. Yes, Nancy, you will love it. It's the vitamins and the minerals that will definitely, especially if any of us have lived a lifestyle that might have been less than ideal as far as maybe toxins or something like that, or our diet has been lacking in good bioavailable nutrients, which most people's are, then the beef liver is the number one way to get it back into you. Bioavailable forms, okay? And then no amount of supplement is going to be better than the real deal in anything. The real deal is always where it's at. Yeah, you can tell I'm not selling any supplements, because if I was selling supplements, I would say, well, yeah, raw beef liver there's issues with it, contamination, it's kind of gross, and you don't always have time. But fortunately, you can buy my bottle of dehydrated blah, 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 which is better than the real deal. No, you have to be very leery of anyone selling you anything in that regard. So the real deal is always best. So wheatgrass powder can never compare to growing your own and juicing raw wheatgrass. Dehydrated beef liver is the next best thing, but it's nowhere near the regular real deal. And that's true with all sorts of things. Whey protein powders and stuff like that, nowhere near as good as just straight up raw milk. Nowhere near as good. Okay? Or the different kind, the cottage cheese and stuff like that. All right? So let us see here. Hello, Ms. T. Greetings. As always, I'm sending high vibrations and strong positive energy to all of you every day in every respect. We are getting better and better. Thanks, Nate. You rock. So see, Ms. T has listened to the self-mastery through auto-suggestion, through conscious auto-suggestion, obviously, because she's has the catchphrase, every day and every way, it's getting better and better. And eventually, the mind takes hold of the idea of progressive betterment. And you don't have to say this to yourself anymore, because it becomes your default pattern after some time, and you'll know when this time is. And literally every day you see improvements in every way. Your whole life improves. Your relationships with others improves. Your health improves. Your health improves not out of some magic, but out of the power of the subconscious mind. Because once you go to the root and you recalibrate your subconscious mind, the desire for that food that makes you sick and fat and ill and unhealthy, it all just goes away. You don't even desire that kind of stuff anymore. So it's not like, oh, it's so hard not to eat that huge tub of ice cream, or oh, it's so hard not to eat that deep fried, taquitos and all that stuff. No, it's effortless because you've gone to the core of where your desires are created. And so you've recalibrated all of that. And so then no, you crave things like raw beef liver, raw milk, and potatoes grown in nutrient rich soil, and collard greens and leafy greens and tomatoes and all the good stuff right out of the garden, out of the living soil. It calls to you. Yes. And this is a joy to live this way. It really is. Let's see. Freebird says, I know I need the liver. I'm going to start with it frozen, tiny little pieces. Okay, yeah, you can do that. Definitely. But definitely don't chew it then. If you guys are at all apprehensive about the liver, don't chew it. You just let it get semi-thawed until it's a little bit solid, not totally defrosted, but and cut it into tiny little cubes, and then with the maple syrup, and just swallow it whole like that, okay? It's gonna be way easier. So let us see here. Gerline says, thoughts on a plant-based diet? Well, I have many thoughts on that, of course. And for 2 years, I was vegetarian. And and I will say this right off the bat. So I will just briefly touch on this. I'll say this right off the bat. I traveled the world, of course, as you all know, and I came across cultures that were entirely vegetarian. I came across whole like villages of people that never ate animal proteins their whole life, just plants, and they were thriving and healthy. Okay. But I also came across cultures that existed almost entirely on meat, like yak meat in the Khumbu region of Nepal, the Sherpa type people, among other people. And they eat their diet was primarily meats, and they were thriving and healthy. But what those two diets had in common was they were not processed. Everything was either raised themselves or grown and harvested and prepared themselves. They weren't buying stuff, bags of stuff from the store. They didn't buy anything from the store. They had their hands-on experience with their food and the soil that it grew in. Even the animals, they raised all the feed for the animals. And this is of primary importance. So the human can do either way. The only thing the human can't do is process the onslaught of man-made toxic chemicals. So for this reason, that's the number one rule. Now, personally though, so you have to find out what works best for your body type. And this is a real thing that because of the way that humans sort of evolved in seclusion, for for many years, okay, we have sort of genetically different foods that work better with our genetics. All right, so I did the vegetarian thing for the 2 years, and for me, I mean, it was great. It was great. I felt good, of course, but I could just tell things were missing, things were lacking, and I lost a bunch of weight and stuff, and I didn't feel as like the fire was not in me at that time, and so, but it wasn't just that aspect. There's other aspects, but this is all part of it. But then when I switched, I broke the vegetarian thing with raw beef liver and raw bone marrow. And when I switched that, and I immediately, like a fog sort of lifted from my mind, and it was like, whoa, the fire came back. And so it like rekindled the fire in my soul. And so I said, okay, I need to source out the high quality meats, because at that time I was just getting it from the butcher. But so I found the source of the until I can start raising it myself, with the land. I found the source of the super good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and started eating huge amounts of beef. And I found for myself that for my genetic makeup, beef, red meat, fish, whole eggs, whole milk, potatoes, peas, the nutrient dense stuff, beans, all of that kind of stuff is really good for me. Fish, that's what works best with my system. The ease of digestion, the ease of assimilation, all of that, no issues. And so for me, that's best. So plant-based or not plant-based, what's primary importance is whole food and as close to its natural state as possible with the life force preserved in it. Okay, there's not anyone that's going to try and tell you nope, humans are not meant to eat meat, or flesh is toxic. That's just simply not my experience in life, nor is it the experience of what I've observed in life through traveling. I'm not going to say that's completely wrong, but that's just not my experience, not my direct experience. And so be very leery of anyone that tries to tell you it's only this way or that way, besides the chemical thing. That's obvious. We're not meant to eat these chemicals, okay? And I found intermittent fasting very difficult on the vegetarian, because it made me a lot more. It just wasn't as satiated. I go all day long not eating until the evening time. I slam a huge meal that's primarily focused around meat, and then whatever I'm growing myself. All the veg I pretty much grow myself, and so it's with every meal, yes, but yeah. And then I'm not hungry at all throughout the day. Brian says processed is the death of us all. Absolutely, absolutely. Ms. KC says I'm hungry now. Yeah, definitely. Freebird, I was in my garden the day the farmer sprayed his herbicide, and I feel that poison got my body. I need to detox. Yes, well, if you feel that, my friend, the Master Cleanse is always there for you. It's always there for you. And it doesn't require much, and it's wonderful. Okay? It can be very, very good. Matias says, Nate, any suggestions about money? Land is expensive. Many idealist organic farms are not very profitable and depend on volunteers and interns. Ooh, yeah, that is a huge topic, my friend, and you're very right with that. And that's why my income will never be tied to making a profit off the land as far as farming. That, not anymore. I mean, I was back in California, of course, but that was different. So the suggestion about money, first and foremost, my friend, and I know you're young, so I will tell you, like I would tell myself at 20 years old, is that do not focus on the money. The money will come. Focus instead on doing something, because we all have to do something. We have to do something. And in this culture, we need the money. You have to have the money because that's just the lifeblood of how things happen. So, okay, money is not evil, but it's the things people do to get money that is the evil. But the evil comes from not the money. But anyways, do something that you are passionate about, and the money will come. Just have confidence in that. Do something that makes you feel alive. Something that I know this is cliche, but something that you would want to do even if you were doing it for free. Something to where it makes you feel like you have a purpose in life. Something where you are like, yes, I want to do this. And it makes you feel good inside. It makes the energy feel and flow through you. This is primary. And find whatever that is, and the money will follow. But in order to find that as a young person, you need to try many different things. Don't just get it stuck in your mind that, okay, well, I can only do my dream through becoming an organic farmer. And the only way I can do that is by buying a $400,000 plot of land and going into debt the rest of my life and then struggling on my farm. No, that's not the only way. There's not only one way to do anything. There's so many different ways. Once you get right within yourself and aligned with your purpose, whatever's meant for you, and don't even think too much about it, just feel it from the heart. Once you get aligned with that, then the universe conspires to make it happen, because the universe always wants your awakening to happen. That if there was a desire of the universe, it's for you to awaken. And so it will always direct things in that way. So you don't have to really worry about that. The only thing you have to do is see the vision. So that's what I'll say about money. And the money will come. The money will come. So Chadwick, growing food is the ultimate connector for me for peace of mind and soul. Absolutely. Yes. When we grow for ourselves, it is very different than like what I'm talking about growing, for a profit from the farmlands and stuff. Let's see. PA says, by the way, it's not about owning the land. It's about controlling the land. Greg Judy. Is that a quote from somebody? Yes. Let's see. Wild Bill says, can you talk just a bit more about consuming raw bone marrow, sourcing, and how much to eat weekly? Okay. Raw bone marrow is like a delicious delicacy. So Don't worry, don't and at first, guys, don't really you don't have to talk to other people about this because they don't understand. And they'll be, oh no, you're gonna get poisoned, or that's gonna be you gotta cook everything. No, you don't. Okay, you don't. You just have to make sure that it's sourced from good, responsible places. And so you can begin by going to the butcher and saying, I would like marrow bones. Sometimes they call them dog bones. Uh, um, and it's just like the femur bone, the real big leg bones, and it will come a section like this, and then you will look on the inside, and inside, the part of the bone that is normally hollow, that we see it as being like hollow, it'll be full of a substance that looks like butter, and that's the bone marrow. And so if you can take this, if you can take that part and have the guy slice it into rings, just about 2 inches like that, have the butcher say, I want marrow bones. And okay, and then can you slice them into pucks like that, little 2-inch sections? And then you will take, so he'll say yes, and he'll use his meat saw, he'll cut them into sections, give them to you in a bag, and you will put them immediately in the freezer. You keep them all in the freezer. And then as you want it, once, twice a week, at first, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Because guys, there's stem cells, and it's a miracle food. Once, twice, 3 or 4 times a week, you take out one of the pucks and you let it thaw just a bit. You don't heat it up, you just let it thaw, and then you take your spoon or your knife and you dig it all out of there into a bowl. Okay, and it will come out like hard butter is the texture of it. And then you will put the maple syrup and some sea salt on top of it. Okay, and I'm talking about the real deal maple syrup, not the Aunt Jemima. So, and then we're going to put the good sea salt on it. And then we will just eat it like this. It is so incredibly delicious. It tastes like when you guys were young. Did you eat like Lego or Eggo waffles? Do you remember those? Just like the real generic waffles. And then you would put butter on them. And then you put the real generic syrup on it or something. And you would get that bite at the center that had all the butter and the syrup on it. And it was just like that. That's exactly what it tastes like. That center bite with all the syrup and the butter. So that's exactly what bone marrow tastes like, guys. And it has got all kinds of good stuff. High quality cholesterols, high quality saturated fats. And do not let the man demonize cholesterol or saturated fat. Good quality, natural saturated fat and cholesterol. Especially for men, guys, saturated fat and cholesterol is a precursor to testosterone. So you need these things in your diet. Women as well, absolutely. But don't be afraid of them, okay? We need them for cognitive function and for just the life force, the spirit. You want to have the fire within you, and you can. It just might have gone dull, and so you need to reawaken it, because that's just what it's all about. And so the raw beef liver, or the raw bone marrow, it's a real treat. I mean, real treat, yeah. PA says, Nate, talk about grass-fed beef. And grass-fed beef, yes, guys, utmost importance to get the grass-fed beef, okay? Because you want cows or animals, bison, whatever it is, that is eating what they're supposed to eat. See, we thrive best when we're eating foods in as close to our natural state as possible. And animals thrive best in the same way. So stuff from the store, beef from the store, has been fed things to force it to get fat and huge and swell up as fast as possible. Super high calorie grains and GMO corn, GMO soybeans, all kinds of stuff, and antibiotics. They have to feed them because of the poor living conditions. And all of that GMO stuff, it all goes into the meat. It all stays in the flesh in certain ways and in the organs and all of this. And it forces the cow, the animal, the ruminant is not designed to eat these kind of things. And so it can't fully digest them. And so part of the process, and I'm really simplifying this whole process because it's deep and involved, but part of the process of their digestion cannot process these things, these corn and GMO soybeans. They're never meant to eat these. And so it puts toxins into the meat and into the blood and all of this. But when the animal eats what its natural diet, which is just grass, when it's grass-fed hay and grass-finished, meaning that because typically a lot of the grass-fed places will be, oh, it's grass-fed. Okay, it's grass-fed, but then to finish it, they'll feed it a bunch of corn and soybeans to bulk it up towards the last couple of months like that. No, you want grass-fed, grass-finished, and that is going to be a superfood, guys. There's nothing wrong whatsoever with loads of red meat when it's in this way. Happy cows, happy bison, happy deer, whatever it is, grass-fed, their natural food. Okay, so source a place that is grass-fed and grass-finished, and you have to specify with that. You have to say, okay, this is grass-finished as well, right? And the good place will say, oh yeah, all they eat, that's all they eat, 100% pasture. But the other places that are trying to pull one over on you will say, oh, grass-fed, it's grass-finished, right? No, well, you know, yeah, well, we bulk it up a little bit. No, you don't want any of that. Okay. Let's see here. Sharon says, thank you so much, Nate, for considering a later time. Since I work, I still like to catch you live. I appreciate everything. Yes, I appreciate you being here too, my friend. So we'll get it sorted out what the time will be. But I love these talks. I mean, this is every bit as awesome for me as the gardening channel is, you know. In many ways, I'm more passionate about the things we talk about on this channel, because gardening is just one aspect of this, which is everything. And so it's a very important aspect, though, because it's what you put into your body determines your experience. This is the truth. Freebird says, I can taste the difference of grass-fed beef. It tastes richer and cleaner. Oh, absolutely. Okay, guys, so we are approaching the end of this one, okay? Because I am at my dad's house right now, and my brother's outside, and they're all at the pond fishing. So I'm gonna get out there and catch some, because we're about to fry them up, fillet them, and we're gonna have a little fish fry, because this is a Father's Day, because I have a stepdad and then a biological dad, and so we have like two of those. And we are gonna fry them up, and then I'm gonna use whatever is left to create a fertilizer, of course. So that will be coming on the other channel. And yeah, guys, let me know in the comments when would be the other ideal time. We're thinking 10:30 on Monday morning, or possibly we'll do like we'll think of like an evening time, a day and time when would be probably like yeah, I don't know. Evenings are tough for me because I get involved in stuff throughout the day, and then it's like I would lose track of something. So if it's first thing, it's so much easier. So, okay, guys, so I will see you next time. And remember that well, we don't know actually when now the next ones are going to be, but next week it will still be a Monday at 12 noon, okay? And then I'll announce the new time next week, all right? So thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you were watching this after the fact, put in the comments any suggestions about topics that you want. We've only scratched the surface of all kinds of stuff that we can talk about, way in depth. And I strongly recommend that you guys start reading the book Entropy. Remember, I showed it last week. And because we're all about spirituality here, but we're also streetwise spirituality. We're Viking spirituality, where yes, we understand the connectedness of all things. We are in tune with the ether, the one energy source, but we also are real about stuff, and we have our feet on the ground, and we understand what's going on around us and happening. So in that regard, because they're one and the same thing, so in that regard, the book Entropy is going to really explain a lot of things like it did for me. Okay, so all right, guys, see you next.